Today, I want to talk about something that sits at the intersection of biology, behavior, and longevity, how a simple daily habit can significantly reduce your risk of cancer after the age of 50. Now, when we hear the word cancer, we often think of genetics, bad luck, or factors beyond our control. But modern research in neuroscience and physiology tells us a different story, one where small, consistent actions can shift the internal environment of our cells in powerful ways. Recently, a leading oncologist revealed that one of the most effective cancer prevention strategies isn't a complex treatment or expensive intervention. It's a simple habit, something accessible, repeatable, and grounded in how our bodies are designed to function. In this talk, I'll break down the science behind this habit, how it influences key systems like metabolism, inflammation, and cellular repair, and most importantly, how you can implement it in your daily life starting today. Because the truth is, prevention isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing the right small things consistently. Cancer risk after the age of 50 is not random. It reflects a series of gradual biological changes that accumulate over time. As the body ages, the systems responsible for maintaining cellular health begin to lose efficiency. One of the most important of these is DNA repair. Every day, your cells experience damage from normal metabolic processes, environmental toxins, and even exposure to sunlight. In younger years, the body is highly efficient at identifying and correcting these errors. But after 50, this repair system slows down, allowing mutations to accumulate more easily, which increases the likelihood of abnormal cell growth. Another critical factor is the change in immune system function. The immune system plays a key role in identifying and eliminating potentially cancerous cells before they can develop into tumors. However, with age, immune surveillance becomes less effective. This decline means that cells that would have previously been destroyed may now survive and multiply. At the same time, chronic low-grade inflammation becomes more common. This condition, often referred to as inflammaging, creates an internal environment that can promote the development and progression of cancer. Hormonal shifts also contribute to increased cancer risk. Levels of hormones such as estrogen, testosterone, and insulin change significantly after 50. These hormones influence how cells grow and divide. For example, elevated insulin levels or insulin resistance can stimulate pathways that encourage cell proliferation, which is a key factor in cancer development. Similarly, imbalances in sex hormones have been linked to cancers such as breast, prostate, and colorectal cancer. Metabolism undergoes noticeable changes as well. The body becomes less efficient at regulating blood sugar and storing fat. Increased visceral fat, which accumulates around internal organs, is particularly concerning because it is metabolically active and releases inflammatory molecules. This not only contributes to inflammation, but also disrupts normal cellular signaling, creating conditions that favor tumor growth. Mitochondrial function, which is responsible for producing energy within cells, also declines with age. When mitochondria become less efficient, they produce more reactive oxygen species, unstable molecules that can damage DNA, proteins, and cell membranes. This oxidative stress further accelerates cellular aging and increases the risk of mutations that can lead to cancer. Lifestyle factors that may have had minimal impact earlier in life begin to exert a stronger influence after 50. Years of poor diet, lack of physical activity, inadequate sleep, and chronic stress start to compound. These factors can amplify inflammation, weaken immune defenses, and disrupt metabolic balance. Even small, repeated exposures to harmful substances such as tobacco smoke or processed foods can have a cumulative effect that becomes more evident in later decades. The microbiome, which consists of trillions of bacteria living in the gut, also changes with age. A less diverse or imbalanced microbiome can influence inflammation, immune function, and even how the body processes nutrients and toxins. Emerging research suggests that these microbial changes may play a role in the development of certain cancers, particularly those affecting the digestive system. All of these changes are interconnected. A decline in one system often influences others, creating a network of vulnerabilities. What makes this particularly important is that many of these processes are not entirely fixed. While aging is inevitable, the rate and extent of these changes can be influenced by daily behaviors. Understanding what actually changes in the body after 50 provides a foundation for making targeted, science-based decisions that can reduce risk and support long-term health. The simple daily habit at the center of this discussion is not something extreme or difficult to maintain. It is rooted in aligning your daily behavior with the natural biological rhythms of your body, specifically through consistent movement and metabolic regulation. One of the most evidence-backed habits recommended by leading oncologists is engaging in regular, moderate physical activity every single day. This does not mean intense workouts or exhausting routines, but rather a steady commitment to moving your body in a way that supports circulation, hormone balance, and cellular health. When you move your body, even through something as simple as brisk walking, several powerful processes are activated. Muscle contractions help regulate blood glucose levels by increasing the uptake of glucose from the bloodstream into the cells. This reduces the amount of circulating insulin, a hormone that, when chronically elevated, can promote cell proliferation and potentially support the growth of cancer cells. By stabilizing blood sugar and lowering insulin spikes, daily movement creates an internal environment that is less favorable for cancer development. Physical activity also directly influences inflammation. Regular movement has been shown to lower levels of pro-inflammatory markers in the body while increasing anti-inflammatory signals. Since chronic inflammation is a known driver of many cancers, this shift plays a crucial role in prevention. Importantly, the effect is cumulative. It is not about one intense session, but about the consistency of daily activity that gradually reprograms the body's inflammatory response. Another key mechanism is the enhancement of immune function. Daily movement increases circulation, allowing immune cells to travel more efficiently throughout the body. This improves immune surveillance, making it more likely that abnormal or damaged cells are detected and eliminated before they can develop into tumors. In this way, a simple habit like walking becomes a tool for strengthening one of the body's primary defense systems. Hormonal balance is also significantly impacted. Regular physical activity helps regulate levels of hormones such as insulin, cortisol, and sex hormones. For example, it can reduce excess estrogen levels in postmenopausal women and improve testosterone balance in men. These hormonal adjustments are important because many cancers are hormone sensitive, meaning their growth is influenced by the levels of specific hormones in the body. In addition to these systemic effects, daily movement supports the health of mitochondria, the energy-producing structures within cells. Exercise stimulates mitochondrial biogenesis, which is the process of creating new mitochondria. Healthier mitochondria produce energy more efficiently and generate fewer harmful byproducts like reactive oxygen species. This reduces oxidative stress and helps protect DNA from damage, lowering the risk of mutations that could lead to cancer. Consistency is what transforms this habit from something ordinary into something powerful. The body responds best to regular signals. When movement becomes a daily practice, it creates a predictable pattern that the body can adapt to. This leads to long-term improvements in metabolic health, immune resilience, and cellular repair processes. Skipping days or relying only on occasional intense exercise does not produce the same sustained benefits. What makes this habit especially effective is its accessibility. It does not require special equipment, expensive memberships, or complex knowledge. It can be as simple as walking for 30 to 45 minutes, maintaining an active lifestyle throughout the day, or incorporating light resistance activities. The key is to remain consistent and intentional, ensuring that movement becomes a non-negotiable part of daily life rather than an occasional effort. The relationship between daily habits and inflammation is deeply rooted in how the body responds to repeated signals over time. Inflammation itself is not inherently harmful. It is a protective response designed to help the body heal from injury or fight infection. The problem arises when this response becomes chronic and low-grade, persisting even in the absence of immediate threats. This type of inflammation creates an internal environment that can damage healthy cells, disrupt normal signaling pathways, and increase the likelihood of cancer development. One of the most effective ways to regulate inflammation is through consistent daily movement. When muscles contract during physical activity, they release signaling molecules known as myokines. These molecules have anti-inflammatory effects and help counterbalance the pro-inflammatory signals that may be elevated due to aging, poor diet, or stress. Over time, this repeated release of beneficial signals shifts the body toward a more balanced inflammatory state. At the same time, regular movement reduces the accumulation of visceral fat, which is one of the major contributors to chronic inflammation. Unlike subcutaneous fat, which sits just beneath the skin, visceral fat surrounds internal organs and actively releases inflammatory cytokines. These substances can interfere with normal cellular function and promote processes that support tumor growth. By reducing this type of fat, daily physical activity directly lowers one of the key sources of inflammation in the body. The immune system is closely linked to inflammation, and both are influenced by daily habits. A well-functioning immune system relies on balance. It must be active enough to detect and eliminate threats, but not so overactive that it causes unnecessary inflammation. Regular physical activity helps maintain this balance by enhancing immune cell circulation and improving their ability to respond appropriately. This means immune cells are better equipped to identify abnormal cells while avoiding excessive inflammatory reactions that could damage healthy tissue. Another important factor is how daily movement affects stress hormones, particularly cortisol. Chronic psychological stress can lead to consistently elevated cortisol levels, which in turn disrupt immune function and promote inflammation. Physical activity helps regulate cortisol by providing a controlled, beneficial form of stress that the body can adapt to. This adaptation leads to a more stable hormonal environment, reducing the likelihood of prolonged inflammatory responses. The gut also plays a significant role in both inflammation and immune health. The microbiome, which consists of trillions of microorganisms living in the digestive system, interacts directly with the immune system. An imbalanced microbiome can trigger inflammatory pathways and weaken immune defenses. Regular movement has been shown to support a more diverse and stable microbiome, which contributes to reduced inflammation and improved immune regulation. Circulation is another key mechanism through which this daily habit exerts its effects. Improved blood flow ensures that nutrients, oxygen, and immune cells are delivered efficiently throughout the body. It also aids in the removal of metabolic waste products that could otherwise contribute to cellular stress and inflammation. This enhanced circulation creates an environment where tissues are better nourished and less prone to damage. Sleep quality, which is often improved by consistent physical activity, further influences inflammation and immune function. Poor sleep is associated with increased levels of inflammatory markers and reduced immune efficiency. By supporting deeper and more restorative sleep, daily movement indirectly contributes to a healthier inflammatory profile and a more responsive immune system. Over time, these interconnected effects build upon each other. Reduced inflammation supports better immune function, and a stronger immune system helps keep inflammation in check. This feedback loop creates a more stable internal environment where cells can function properly, repair damage effectively, and resist the processes that lead to cancer development. At the cellular level, the body is constantly engaged in processes that maintain the integrity of DNA and ensure that cells function as intended. Every cell contains genetic material that is vulnerable to damage from both internal and external sources, including metabolic byproducts, environmental toxins, and radiation. Under normal conditions, the body relies on a network of repair mechanisms to detect and correct these errors. However, as these systems become less efficient with age, the importance of supporting cellular repair through daily habits becomes increasingly significant. One of the central processes involved in protecting DNA is the activation of repair enzymes that identify damaged sections and restore them before they can lead to mutations. Regular physical activity has been shown to enhance the activity of these enzymes, improving the body's ability to maintain genetic stability. This means that even though damage may still occur, the likelihood of it accumulating and contributing to cancer development is reduced. Another key component of cellular protection is the regulation of oxidative stress. During normal metabolism, cells produce reactive oxygen species, which are unstable molecules capable of damaging DNA, proteins, and cell membranes. When the production of these molecules exceeds the body's ability to neutralize them, oxidative stress occurs. Daily movement helps strengthen the body's antioxidant defenses by increasing the production of enzymes that neutralize these harmful molecules. This reduces the overall burden of oxidative damage on cells. Mitochondria, often referred to as the powerhouses of the cell, play a critical role in both energy production and cellular health. When mitochondria function efficiently, they produce energy with minimal leakage of harmful byproducts. However, aging and sedentary behavior can impair mitochondrial function, leading to increased production of reactive oxygen species. Regular physical activity stimulates the creation of new mitochondria and improves the efficiency of existing ones, resulting in better energy production and reduced cellular stress. Cellular repair is also closely linked to processes such as autophagy, which is the body's way of cleaning out damaged or dysfunctional cellular components. This process is essential for preventing the accumulation of cellular debris that can interfere with normal function and contribute to disease. Daily habits that include consistent movement have been shown to promote autophagy, allowing cells to remove damaged structures and recycle their components for future use. Another important mechanism is the regulation of cell cycle checkpoints. These checkpoints act as quality control systems that determine whether a cell should continue to divide or pause for repair. When functioning properly, they prevent damaged cells from replicating. Physical activity influences the signaling pathways that control these checkpoints, helping ensure that only healthy cells proceed through the cycle of growth and division. Telomeres, which are protective caps at the ends of chromosomes, also play a role in cellular aging and cancer risk. Each time a cell divides, telomeres shorten slightly. When they become too short, the cell can no longer divide effectively. While this is a natural part of aging, excessive shortening can lead to genomic instability. Research suggests that regular physical activity may help preserve telomere length, supporting long-term cellular health and stability. Blood flow and oxygen delivery further support cellular repair processes. When tissues receive adequate oxygen and nutrients, they are better equipped to carry out repair functions and maintain normal activity. Improved circulation from daily movement ensures that cells are not deprived of the resources they need to function efficiently. These processes do not operate in isolation. Enhanced DNA repair, reduced oxidative stress, improved mitochondrial function, and efficient cellular cleanup all work together to maintain the integrity of the body at a microscopic level. When supported consistently through daily habits, they create an internal environment that is less conducive to the mutations and dysfunctions associated with cancer development. The idea that a simple daily habit can influence cancer risk is not based on speculation. It is supported by a growing body of scientific evidence spanning epidemiology, molecular biology, and clinical research. Large-scale population studies have consistently shown that individuals who engage in regular physical activity have a lower risk of developing several types of cancer, including breast, colon, and prostate cancer. These findings remain significant even after accounting for other factors such as diet, smoking, and socioeconomic status, suggesting that movement itself plays an independent and protective role. One of the strongest areas of evidence comes from studies on colorectal cancer. Research has demonstrated that individuals who maintain consistent physical activity levels have a significantly reduced risk compared to those who are sedentary. The mechanisms behind this are linked to improved digestion, reduced inflammation in the gut, and more efficient regulation of insulin and other growth-related hormones. Similar patterns have been observed in breast cancer, where regular activity is associated with lower circulating estrogen levels and improved metabolic health. Clinical research also provides insight into how this habit affects individuals who have already been diagnosed with cancer. Studies have shown that patients who incorporate regular movement into their routines often experience better outcomes, including improved treatment tolerance, reduced side effects, and in some cases, lower rates of recurrence. This suggests that the benefits of physical activity extend beyond prevention and into the management and recovery phases of the disease. Oncologists and researchers emphasize that the effectiveness of this habit lies in its consistency rather than its intensity. Moderate, sustained activity performed daily appears to have a more profound impact on long-term health than sporadic, high-intensity efforts. This aligns with the understanding that biological systems respond best to regular, predictable inputs. The body adapts over time, gradually improving its ability to regulate key processes such as inflammation, immune function, and cellular repair. Laboratory studies further support these observations by examining the effects of physical activity at the cellular and molecular levels. For example, research has shown that exercise can influence gene expression in ways that promote tumor suppression and inhibit pathways associated with cancer growth. These changes are not permanent, but are reinforced with repeated activity, highlighting the importance of maintaining the habit over time. Another important area of evidence involves the relationship between physical activity and insulin sensitivity. Chronic insulin resistance is associated with an increased risk of several cancers, as elevated insulin levels can stimulate cell proliferation and inhibit apoptosis, the process by which damaged cells are naturally eliminated. Regular movement improves insulin sensitivity, reducing the need for excessive insulin production and helping maintain a more stable internal environment. Insights from oncologists who work directly with patients further reinforce these findings. Many specialists now include lifestyle recommendations as part of their guidance, recognizing that behavior plays a crucial role in both prevention and recovery. While medical treatments remain essential, there is a growing acknowledgement that daily habits can significantly influence outcomes. This perspective represents a shift from viewing cancer solely as a disease to be treated, toward understanding it as a condition that can also be influenced by how the body is supported on a daily basis. Importantly, the accessibility of this habit makes it particularly valuable from a public health perspective. Unlike interventions that require specialized equipment or significant financial resources, regular physical activity can be adopted by most individuals regardless of their background. This universality allows it to serve as a foundational strategy for reducing cancer risk across populations. The consistency of findings across different types of studies strengthens the overall conclusion. When epidemiological data, clinical outcomes, and molecular research all point in the same direction, it provides a compelling case for the role of daily movement in cancer prevention and overall health. Implementing a simple daily habit like consistent physical activity requires more than just understanding its benefits. It depends on creating a structure that makes the behavior sustainable over time. One of the most effective ways to begin is by removing the idea that it has to be intense or time-consuming. The goal is to integrate movement into daily life in a way that feels natural and repeatable, rather than forced or overwhelming. This shift in mindset is critical because it reduces resistance and increases the likelihood of long-term adherence. A practical starting point is to anchor the habit to an existing part of your routine. For example, taking a brisk walk at the same time each day, such as in the morning after waking up or in the evening after dinner, creates a consistent cue that reinforces the behavior. Over time, this association becomes automatic, reducing the need for motivation or decision-making. The brain begins to recognize the pattern, making the habit easier to maintain even on days when energy or motivation is low. Environment also plays a significant role in consistency. Small adjustments, such as choosing stairs over elevators, parking farther from entrances, or setting reminders to stand and move every hour, can accumulate into meaningful levels of activity throughout the day. These micro-movements may seem insignificant on their own, but when performed consistently, they contribute to improved circulation, metabolic regulation, and overall energy balance. Tracking progress can further strengthen adherence. This does not require complex tools. Even a simple step count or time-based goal can provide a clear sense of direction. Many people find that aiming for a daily step range, such as 7,000 to 10,000 steps, offers a tangible target that is both achievable and effective. The act of tracking creates awareness, and awareness reinforces behavior by making progress visible. It is also important to adjust the habit based on individual capacity and lifestyle. For someone who is largely sedentary, starting with 10 to 15 minutes of walking per day may be sufficient. Gradually increasing duration and intensity allows the body to adapt without causing excessive fatigue or discomfort. This gradual progression is essential because it minimizes the risk of injury and prevents the discouragement that often comes from trying to do too much too quickly. Incorporating variety can help maintain engagement over time. While walking is one of the most accessible forms of movement, adding light resistance exercises, stretching, or recreational activities can provide additional benefits and prevent monotony. Variety also ensures that different muscle groups are engaged, supporting overall physical function and reducing the likelihood of imbalances. Social factors can further enhance consistency. Engaging in physical activity with a friend, family member, or group creates a sense of accountability and makes the experience more enjoyable. This social reinforcement can be particularly helpful in maintaining the habit during periods when motivation might otherwise decline. Even simple actions, such as scheduling regular walks with someone, can significantly increase adherence. Recovery and rest should also be considered as part of the implementation process. While daily movement is beneficial, it should be balanced with adequate sleep and proper nutrition to support the body's ability to adapt and recover. Ignoring these factors can reduce the effectiveness of the habit and potentially lead to fatigue or burnout. Flexibility is another key element. Life circumstances can change, and rigid routines may not always be sustainable. Having alternative options, such as shorter sessions or indoor activities, ensures that the habit can be maintained even when conditions are not ideal. The focus should remain on consistency rather than perfection, allowing for adjustments without abandoning the routine entirely. Over time, these strategies work together to transform a simple action into an automatic part of daily life. The habit becomes less about effort and more about identity, as consistent movement is integrated into how a person lives rather than something they have to consciously enforce.